A single choice can break a whole summer, and the new trailer wants us to watch that choice happen in slow motion. Asterisk, the trailer opens like a quiet wave before a storm, and every shot feels loaded with a promise that things will not go back to normal. You can feel the air change at Cousins Beach. The sun is bright, but the mood is not. Belly walks across the sand with a face that looks brave and scared at the same time. The camera hangs on her like it is waiting for her to say something she has. Held in for too long, we hear a soft line of voiceover about how love is not simple, and how sometimes you have to let go to know what you want. Right there, the trailer tells us this episode is about a real decision, not a tease or a fake-out. Sound design keeps it tight, waves roll, the wind moves a loose strand of hair, a phone buzzes in a pocket, and nobody answers. That tiny detail says distance has grown between people who used to talk all day. A party scene flashes for a second music. Lights, laughter, then a cut to silence, and the same house looks colder daylight. Turns to the blue of early evening, and that color shift warns us that the warm safety of summer is slipping. Belly glances toward the driveway as a car pulls in. She has a half smile that does not reach her eyes. The camera cuts before we see who steps out, which hooks us right away. After that, we get a quick look at Conrad on the porch, staring at the ocean like it holds an answer he cannot find. He is still, and the world moves around him, which makes him look stuck. Jeremiah shows up next, leaning on a railing with his jaw set like he is done waiting. He looks softer than Conrad, but more sure of himself now. This contrast is not an accident, the edit keeps bouncing between them and Belly, so our brain starts to weigh each look. In each breath, the trailer drops small symbols that point to bigger feelings. A closed bedroom door with a light under it, a bracelet set down on a desk, a text draft that says, "I need to tell you something," and then gets deleted. Before we even get words, we understand this episode is about truth that is late but still needed a short shot of. Laurel and Steven at the kitchen table brings in the family thread there. Faces carry the weight of past summers. In the shadow of Susanna's memory, nothing is said, but you can see they are ready to protect Belly, even if that means pushing her to face the mess. A line from Laurel cuts through like a bell you cannot choose. For the future, if you keep living in yesterday, the trailer times this line over a cut of Belly between Conrad and Jeremiah so it lands hard. A final sequence speeds up the rhythm, footsteps on stairs, a door swinging open, a near kiss that stops. At the last inch, an eyes full of tears not yet fallen, then the title card hits, and the music cuts off mid-beat, leaving us with a feeling that Episode 7 will pull the thread until the whole knot comes loose. This is not just summer crush energy anymore. This is the point where love becomes a decision, and the trailer makes sure we feel the cost before a single scene even plays. Asterisk, the second wave of the trailer hits harder because it pulls away the glow of the beach and shows us what happens when the walls close in inside the Fisher house. Everything feels too quiet, the kind of silence where you can hear your own heartbeat. The camera lingers on the family photos, and the sound of a clock ticking in the background makes every second feel heavier. Belly walks through the hallway, touching the frames with her fingers like she is remembering better days. The editing makes these moments almost dreamlike, but instead of comfort, they carry a weight of loss as she moves the shot cuts. To Conrad alone in his room, he is sitting at his desk, papers scattered everywhere, but he is staring at none of them. His shoulders look tense, his head is bowed, and the light in the room is dim. He whispers a single line that the trailer does not let us hear clearly, and that silence makes it even more powerful. It feels like he is carrying words he cannot say out loud yet. Then the camera shifts to Jeremiah in the kitchen. His movements are sharp but controlled, pouring a drink, setting it down. Looking out the window, the sunlight catches his face and we see his jaw tighten. He is angry, but it is not wild anger. It is focused. He looks like someone who has finally decided to stop waiting for life to choose for him. The trailer then does something clever. It overlays Belly's voice speaking about how sometimes love is not enough, while showing images of Conrad and Jeremiah in separate rooms. Their actions are small but filled with meaning. Conrad holding on to an old letter, Jeremiah closing his fist around a seashell. The past and the present are fighting inside these boys, and the trailer wants us to see every tiny symbol of it. Then we get a quick flash montage, Steven laughing with friends, Laurel watching quietly from the doorway, and Taylor giving Belly a look that feels more like a warning than support. These shots tell us the whole group is caught in the web, even if they are not at the center. The music in this part of the trailer is soft but pulsing like a heartbeat. Each beat matches a cut in the montage, and that rhythm makes you feel like something explosive is about to break. The camera finally cuts back too. Belly standing on the porch at night, the lights behind her are warm, but her face is lit by the cool blue glow of the moon. It is the perfect visual to show us she is caught between warmth and cold, between safety and risk, between two brothers who both hold a piece of her heart. The scene holds on her face for just a second too long, then cuts away, leaving the audience unsettled and desperate to know what she will do when the moment finally comes. Third stretch of the trailer shifts gears and trades silence for storm. Every sound feels sharper, every image feels like it is hiding an answer. The screen cuts to the beach at dusk, waves crashing harder than before, as if the ocean itself knows a choice is coming. Belly runs along the shoreline, her hair wild, her breathing heavy, and the camera follows close behind. It is not the carefree run of summer joy, it is the desperate run of someone chasing or escaping something. The trailer never shows us what is behind her, and that mystery becomes the hook. Then the scene flips to Conrad standing in the rain. His shirt clings to him, his expression unreadable, but you can feel the turmoil under the surface. Car door slams in the background. Someone walks away without looking back. Conrad doesn't chase, and that single decision speaks louder than dialogue. The trailer keeps his silence heavy, letting the audience wonder if he is too proud, too broken, or too afraid to move. Jeremiah's moment is opposite, and the trailer wants us to notice that. He appears under warm lights, surrounded by laughter, but he is not laughing. He sits at a table while people talk around him, and his eyes keep searching for one face. The framing isolates him, even in the crowd, like he knows joy is close, but just out of reach. When he finally sees Belly in the distance, the camera slows, every sound drops except for one soft piano note, and we understand his entire focus is on here. Family tension cuts through next. Laurel and Stephen have a quiet but sharp argument over what Belly should do. Laurel's voice trembles with fear that history will repeat itself, while Stephen defends his sister's right to choose. The trailer slices these moments quickly between shots of Belly crying alone in her room and Jeremiah punching the sand on the beach. It builds the idea that love is no longer just about feelings, it is about survival. Editing grows more frantic, showing flashes of fireworks, lighting the night sky, waves hitting rocks, and a door being slammed shut. A whispered line from Belly drifts over it all. Live with the choice I have to make. That single sentence frames the entire episode as not just romance but destiny. The final clip of this section is haunting. Conrad looking out over the ocean, Jeremiah watching from a balcony, Belly caught between. Both images fading in and out over her face. The screen cuts to black before we get an answer, and the silence is deafening. Part of the trailer pulls the camera closer to Belly than ever before, and everything we see is filtered through her emotions. The world around her feels blurred, as if the lens itself is telling us she cannot think straight. She is shown sitting in her room. The lights dim, with only the soft glow of a desk lamp outlining her face. She holds a notebook in her hands and flips through pages filled with scribbles, crossed out sentences, and torn corners. The trailer lingers on a single, unfinished line written in shaky handwriting. I think I finally know what I want. The page cuts off before the thought is complete, and that unfinished sentence becomes the heartbeat of the entire sequence. The trailer then shifts to a mirror shot. Belly staring at her own reflection, almost daring herself to say the truth out loud. She whispers something, but the sound is drowned out by music, leaving the audience to fill in the blank. Her eyes glisten not just with tears, but with fear, as if speaking the words will make them impossible to take back. The editing style here is fragmented images, flash like memory snapshots of summer nights, laughter by the bonfire, the soft brush of hands touching, and moments of silence that once felt safe, but now feel heavy. Then we are shown Belly at a family dinner, her expression calm on the surface, but her hands clenched tightly. In her lap, the trailer slows her movements while voices around the table fade into a blur, making her isolation feel physical. Laurel notices but says nothing, her eyes carrying the weight of everything. Belly is too afraid to say Belly, then pushes her chair back, stands up, and walks away. The the sound of her footsteps echoing against the quiet room. This small act of leaving feels louder than any argument could. The trailer makes a bold move here, showing Belly on the pier at night, standing between two figures, one in the distance to her left, one to her right. We only see their outlines blurred by shadows and moonlight. She takes a slow step forward, but the screen cuts before we learn who she is, walking toward. This image alone makes episode 7 feel like the breaking point of the entire season. The music swells to a painful high note before dropping suddenly into silence. The last shot in this section is a close-up of Belly's face as she whispers a single line, "This time I have to choose for me, not for anyone else." Her voice is steady, but her eyes reveal the storm underneath the screen, cuts to black, and the silence that follows leaves the audience desperate to know which path she will take. The trailer pivots now and gives the spotlight to Conrad and Jeremiah. And it does not treat them as simple rivals, but as two boys standing at different ends of the same road. The first shot is of Conrad alone in his car parked by the beach. The windshield is streaked with rain, and his hands grip the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles turn pale. He doesn't start the engine, he doesn't move, he just sits in the quiet, staring straight ahead at nothing. This stillness screams louder than shouting. The trailer cuts to his lips, barely parting, as if he wants to say Belly's name but swallows it back down. That silence becomes his prison. Germer's sequence contrasts in color and tone. His shot is framed under golden light at a crowded bonfire. Everyone is dancing, laughing, music is booming, but Jeremiah is frozen at the edge. He smiles when people talk to him, but the smile flickers the second their eyes turn away. The camera pushes closer until all the background sound fades, and we only hear his breath. He is watching the fire, but his mind is somewhere else. With someone else, the trailer shows him tossing a seashell into the flames. A quiet, symbolic gesture, as if he is ready to burn away the waiting and step forward, no matter the cost. The next sequence is sharper, faster. The trailer jumps between the brothers. Conrad slamming his bedroom door, Jeremiah throwing his jacket onto the sand, Conrad sitting with his head in his hands, Jeremiah pulling out his phone and almost calling someone but hesitating. The cuts are jagged, meant to show us how different they are handling the same storm. Conrad folds inward. Jeremiah lashes outward and Belly is caught in the space between their choices. One of the most striking images in this section is a shot of both brothers walking in opposite directions along the same stretch of beach. The camera frames it so the waves crash between them like a wall. Conrad heads into the shadows, Jeremiah into the firelight. They never look back at each other, and the distance grows wider with every step. It is a visual metaphor for the split, not only between them, but also for the decision Belly must face. The trailer finally widens its lens and reminds us that this story has always been bigger than just a triangle. The supporting characters step into the frame, and their presence carries weight that makes the core conflict feel even sharper. Laurel is shown first, standing in Susanna's old garden, trimming flowers with careful hands. The camera lingers on her face as she looks down at the petals falling one by one, and you can feel the quiet grief she still carries. Her voice cuts through the trailer, soft but steady. Sometimes love is choosing to let someone grow, even if it means they grow away from you. The line is timed over a shot of Belly looking at Conrad and Jeremiah from a distance, and the parallel is impossible to miss. Caught in an argument with Belly on the front steps, his tone is frustrated, but his eyes reveal worry. He tells her that she doesn't have to figure everything out alone. The trailer makes his words hit harder by flashing to a shot of Belly alone on the pier, her shoulders hunched against the night wind. The message is clear: her choices are hers, but the ripples of those choices will touch everyone. Taylor's moment is short but striking. She stands with Belly in a dressing room mirror scene, her hand resting on Belly's shoulders. She doesn't say much, only offers a quiet warning. You don't have to let history decide your future. The trailer shows this while Belly stares at her own reflection, and the line feels like a challenge. As much as advice, Taylor has always been more of an outside observer, but here her role sharpens like a blade. She represents the voice Belly may not be ready to listen to, but desperately needs. What makes this section powerful is how the trailer stitches family and friends into the larger emotional web. Every shot suggests that episode 7 won't just test Belly's heart, but the bonds that tie all of them together, Laurel's protective instincts, Steven's brotherly concern, Taylor's fierce loyalty. They're all standing in different corners of the same storm, each of them pushing Belly toward a choice, not by forcing her, but by reminding her that her decision holds weight beyond romance. The trailer closes like a tightening knot, every image faster, every sound sharper, until it feels like breath itself is running out. The first shot in this stretch is Belly standing at the shoreline, her feet in the water, her arms wrapped tight around herself. The sky is heavy with storm clouds rolling in, and the waves crash with a violence that mirrors her inner storm. Single voiceover line from her carries over it all. I don't know who I'll be after this. And that confession makes the whole episode feel like a breaking point, not just for her heart, but for her identities. The pace accelerates from here. We see Conrad's eyes filled with tears, though his face never fully breaks. We see Jeremiah shouting, but the trailer cuts his words off mid-sentence, leaving us hungry to know what he said. We see Laurel stepping into a doorway, blocking someone from walking out, a clear act of protection that also feels like a desperate attempt to hold the family together. The cuts are jagged, the music rising like thunder, and every beat tells us episode 7 is going to shatter the fragile calm of summer. Then the trailer drops its biggest tease, a blurred kiss in the dark, Belly outlined against shadows and a figure leaning in close. The shot lasts less than 2 seconds, but it is enough to spark every theory. Was it Conrad? Was it Jeremiah? Was it even a goodbye rather than a beginning? The screen does not answer, and the mystery feels deliberate. It forces the audience to carry that question until the episode airs. The montage peaks with chaos. Fireworks explode over the beach, a glass shatters on the floor, a door slams shut. In anger, a voice yells, "Belly, wait," and then silence. The trailer fades to black, but not before flashing a single haunting image. Belly standing between Conrad and Jeremiah, both of them half lit, half shadow, her face unreadable. The music cuts mid-note, leaving us hanging in that silence. Final card reads, Episode 7, the choice is coming, and the words linger like a warning rather than a promise. The trailer does not give answers, but it makes sure we know the questions are about to burn through every character we love. It is the perfect ending beat, pushing us to wonder not just who Belly will choose, but what pieces of herself she might lose in the process. This is not just another summer episode. This is the storm before the finale, and the trailer makes sure we feel every drop of rain before it falls.